Khamzat Chimaev has officially reacted to the highly anticipated showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 322. Welcome back to the MMA Zone, where we break down the aftermath of one of the most dominant title fights in recent memory. Islam Makhachev walked into UFC 322 with the pressure of history on his shoulders and left the octagon as a two-division UFC champion. His performance was nothing short of spectacular. From the opening bell, Makhachev controlled the pace with precision striking, relentless grappling, and flawless execution of his game plan. Every exchange and every moment of the fight showcased a champion operating at the highest level of the sport. The MMA community erupted online following the performance, with fans, fighters, and analysts giving their immediate reactions. Shortly after the event, Khamzat Chimaev shared his thoughts on social media, extending his respect and praise to Makhachev, acknowledging the magnitude of his achievement and the pride it brought to the people of Dagestan. Chimaev has long expressed admiration for elite competitors who rise to the biggest moments, and his reaction reflected not only respect for Makhachev as an athlete but also recognition of what his victory represents culturally and competitively. The support from Chimaev caught the attention of fans who have long speculated about a possible future matchup between the two dominant forces. While both fighters have expressed mutual respect, the MMA world continues to imagine how their styles would clash if they ever met inside the octagon. For now, the focus remains on Makhachev's historic accomplishment. Becoming a two-division champion solidifies his place among the greatest fighters in UFC history. His ability to adapt and evolve, combined with world-class discipline and intelligence, has continued to separate him from the competition. As for Jack Della Maddalena, despite the loss, his heart, toughness, and willingness to engage on every level earned him praise across the MMA world. Many believe that with adjustments and continued growth, he will remain a major threat in the division and could earn another title opportunity in the future. UFC 322 will be remembered as a night where legacy was cemented, respect was earned, and the MMA landscape shifted once again. The reactions pouring in from top fighters like Khamzat Chimaev show just how powerful and impactful Islam Makhachev's performance truly was. The sport now waits eagerly to see what comes next for both warriors. Ian Garry has delivered a strong and controversial reaction to the Islam Makhachev vs Jack Della Maddalena title fight, openly criticizing JDM's performance and calling it the weakest title defense in UFC history. As soon as the fight concluded, Garry took to social media to express his opinion, arguing that Jack Della Maddalena looked unprepared and showed none of the characteristics expected from a world champion. According to Garry, the preparation seemed non-existent, the composure was missing, and the confidence evaporated the moment Makhachev began to dominate. Throughout the event, Garry provided live reactions, repeatedly pointing out how quickly momentum shifted in favor of Makhachev. He noted that from the first round onward the outcome appeared inevitable, describing 3 complete rounds of domination where Jack struggled to defend takedowns, exchanges, and pressure. Garry stated that Jack did not look like he knew how to respond or adjust and suggested that his mentality crumbled under championship pressure. He added that what separates champions from contenders is the ability to adapt when adversity strikes, something he believes was absent in JDM's performance. Garry emphasized that Makhachev delivered a flawless display, maintaining full control and forcing Jack into a defensive survival mode rather than competitive engagement. He pointed to the visible frustration and fatigue on Jack's face as the fight progressed, claiming it was obvious that the momentum had broken him mentally before the final sequence. In his assessment, the corner had little guidance left to give, and the outcome felt predetermined as Makhachev secured the decisive finish. The Irish contender did not hold back in stating that the night worked in his favor. Garry explained that if Jack loses and Leon Edwards continues to struggle, it aligns perfectly with his own career aspirations. He made it clear that he is watching closely, looking for an opportunity to insert himself into future title discussions. Garry even predicted the next moves for the division, suggesting Jack Della Maddalena should face another rising contender to rebuild while he eyes a massive future matchup with Islam Makhachev. In closing, Garry reinforced that this fight showcased the levels required to remain champion and that Makhachev continues to prove why he belongs among the most dominant fighters in the sport. For Gary, the goal now is to position himself for a bout with Makhachev one day, convinced that his style and mindset are capable of challenging the reigning two-division champion. Dana White shared his reaction to the Islam Makhachev vs Jack Della Maddalena title fight during the UFC 322 post-fight press conference, offering an honest and straightforward breakdown of what he witnessed inside the octagon. The UFC president made it clear that although the fight will not be remembered as one of the most thrilling or high-risk title bouts in UFC history, the level of dominance displayed by Islam Makhachev cannot be overlooked. He pointed out that the matchup was not built on dramatic exchanges or highlight reel moments, but rather on complete control, technical superiority, and execution of a near-perfect strategy. White explained that excitement is not the only metric by which greatness is measured. In his words, what matters is dominance, consistency, and the ability to impose one's will on the biggest stage. He emphasized that Makhachev demonstrated all three at UFC 322, continuing to widen the gap between himself and the rest of the division. White added that while some fans may prefer back-and-forth wars, the sport also demands respect for fighters who can neutralize elite opponents with such efficiency that they take away every path to victory. Dana also discussed the future implications of the victory, acknowledging that what the UFC does next with Makhachev will play a major role in shaping legacy discussions. He hinted that conversations surrounding the greatest of all time are becoming more relevant each time Makhachev steps into the cage. With 2 titles and a string of dominant performances across multiple weight classes, the momentum behind Makhachev's name is growing rapidly. White believes that if he continues on this trajectory and continues defeating top contenders, legendary status is not just a possibility but an expectation. However, White did not shy away from mentioning that fan reaction might be divided. Some will applaud the technical brilliance, while others will crave more dramatic exchanges. He stated that this dynamic has existed forever in combat sports and will always remain. But for those who truly understand mixed martial arts, Makhachev's performance was as clear a message as any. He is operating at a level very few fighters in UFC history have reached. Dana concluded by reiterating that the win represents more than a title defense. It represents the potential start of a legacy chapter that could elevate Makhachev into the greatest of all-time conversation. For now, White made it clear that the UFC recognizes the magnitude of what happened at UFC 322, and the next steps for Makhachev could define an era. Sean O'Malley has shared his thoughts on the aftermath of Islam Makhachev's dominant victory over Jack Della Maddalena, and the future matchup he believes the MMA world needs to witness next. According to O'Malley, the most compelling and skillful fight that could happen right now is Islam Makhachev vs Ilia Topuria. He expressed a strong desire to see Ilia win his next fight because it would set up what he considers one of the most fascinating stylistic clashes in modern MMA. O'Malley described the potential matchup as one of the biggest and most technical fights ever, a pairing that would showcase incredibly rare talent on both sides. In his breakdown, O'Malley explained that he does not see many opponents in the division who would not suffer the same fate that JDM did against Makhachev. He acknowledged that Islam's ability to maintain control and dominate both striking and grappling exchanges makes him a nightmare for almost everyone in the current landscape. However, O'Malley pointed out that Ilia Topuria might be the one fighter positioned to truly challenge him. While Topuria has not been heavily tested in the grappling department yet, O'Malley referenced his win over Bryce Mitchell as evidence that Ilia possesses the composure and technical ability required to deal with high-level ground specialists. O'Malley went on to highlight that both Topuria and Makhachev are complete mixed martial artists who excel in every major component of the sport. He described their skill sets as extremely rare, comparing them to the well-rounded dominance once associated with John Jones. Fighters who are equally dangerous in striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu do not come around often, and O'Malley believes both men fit into that elite category. He added that if the two ever meet inside the cage, the question of size could become a defining factor. While technique, fight IQ, and athletic ability would be evenly matched, physical strength and frame might influence the outcome. O'Malley suggested that there are cases in MMA where skill alone cannot compensate for size differences, and this matchup might be one of those scenarios. Even so, he emphasized that the fight would not only be competitive but one that could push both athletes to their absolute limits. For O'Malley, there is no bigger or more exciting potential matchup right now than Islam Makhachev versus Iliad Topuria, and he believes the MMA world would witness something historic if that fight ever becomes reality. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Hasbulla were seen celebrating intensely after Islam Makhachev's latest victory, and the footage quickly spread across the MMA community. The atmosphere surrounding the celebration showed how meaningful the win was not only for Makhachev himself but also for his close circle, his team, and the loyal supporters who have been with him throughout every stage of his career. Khabib appeared filled with pride and emotion, describing the moment as historic for their group and for Dagestan as a whole. He expressed how happy they were to continue raising the bar and improving with every fight, emphasizing that each step forward is the result of discipline, sacrifice, and family-like unity within their team. Khabib spoke about how much work and focus goes into preparing for such a big moment. He explained that before the fight there was no room for celebration, no distractions, and barely any appetite because everything was centered around supporting Makhachev and staying mentally ready until the final bell. He highlighted how much pressure a championship fight brings, not just for the fighter but also for everyone who shares the journey with him. According to Khabib, the feeling after a victory is not only relief but also deep satisfaction in seeing months of dedication pay off. Hasbulla was also seen enjoying the celebration, joking with the team and adding to the excitement of the moment. The energy in the room showed clear chemistry and genuine happiness, reflecting how tightly connected their camp is. Khabib noted that now that the job is done, it is finally time to relax and enjoy the moment together. He mentioned that there were cameras everywhere and so many people wanting interviews and photos, which added to the exhaustion after a long night. Still, he emphasized that the most important thing now is to allow Islam to rest after giving everything inside the cage. Khabib also hinted at how rare and special victories like this are, acknowledging that becoming a two-division champion is a milestone few athletes ever achieve. He said that moments like this deserve to be celebrated, whether with friends, family or even something as simple as enjoying a meal together. The team wrapped up the night by sharing food and enjoying each other's company, proud of what they accomplished and motivated for the future.